Hello and welcome to another episode of Cubs on Tap. I guess I'm your host today, Joey Ricotta. I am joined by Rich Eberwine. Is that how you say your last name?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Okay, I should have asked you that before we hopped on here, but that's how I would have pronounced it and how I did, and I'm glad I was right. Cubs on Tap is one of two podcasts here at On Tap Sportsnet. The Dingers podcast, you can follow along with those guys too. Mitch and the gang do a great job. Today, Rich, I'm pumped because we get to talk about the offense producing last night. I don't even know where I want to start, but I guess first, how the heck are you, man? It's good to be
Dude,
here with you.
yeah, doing good. I like what I saw from the Cubs yesterday. That was quite the barrage of offense that I hope they can sustain at least somewhat over the course of the season. But one thing at a time, they're taking on trying to win this series against the Athletics. Almost said Oakland's, the not Oakland Athletics. But yeah, we got Justin Steele on the mound tonight. Feeling pretty good about it. I think they got a good shot of winning the series tonight and wrapping it up.
I do too. First, I think this is the first solo show that we've done together or duo show that me and you have done together. I know we had the big group season preview one the last time, so this is going to be fun to, just really pick your brain and dive into this. But yeah, man, I do think they have a good shot tonight against the A's in Sacramento, which, if I don't remember if it was that season preview show or if it was the one right before that, but I remember talking on this show saying that I believe and everything I was reading into was Sacramento would kind of play like a little bit of a bandbox and be a little bit more offensive. And the first game there, the results don't really lie there. There were a lot of home runs. What was it, the total? Was it 4 home runs last night that the Cubs hit? And I think the A's had the 9-hitter hit one. I'm not looking at the box score, but maybe we could pull that up here. But the Cubs just went, and I don't even know how much of that was the ballpark, or if it was just the Cubs taking advantage of some bad pitching and just completely just having a night. But yeah, we'll get into that. I will say before we talk about last night's game, I was a little bit, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, but I was a little bit annoyed with the way that game went on Sunday. It's like it still sucks because you're still fighting this uphill battle record-wise when you should be, they're 3-4. You win that game on Sunday and you're 4-3 at this point. So, but nonetheless, I'm very happy with the outcome last night. And yeah, what were your overall takeaways before we kind of pick it, break it down from yesterday?
Yeah, man. Speaking of that Sunday game, it was truly heartbreaking. That was the first, hopefully, of not too many heartbreaking losses that the Cubs will surrender this year. But yeah, and I took your advice and started tracking that in the Excel sheet. The just
Nice.
games that the Cubs have blown that they should have won. I'm hoping that there won't be any more than like 10 of those this year. That's my conservative estimate and the good side of it. But yeah, even though the bullpen totally collapsed on Sunday, the offense, to your point, looked really good. And they kept that rolling into yesterday's game. And I think it's been kind of galvanized by Kyle Tucker's presence in the lineup a little bit. I think it's a massive help and takes pressure off some other guys like Seiya Suzuki and Michael Busch, who are, kind of expected to be, big time producers for this lineup, and certainly were last year. And it kind of takes a little bit of pressure off of those guys. And when they're bookended in between Tucker, that just helps them take better at bats and, just have more patience at the plate. And I think it's kind of just lifting everybody up a little bit.
Yeah, it's huge, right? I mean, you get that extra production from a guy like Kyle Tucker, who's, I mean, just started the season on fire here. He's home run and he's hit a home run how many straight games now at this point?
He's going
Three
for
straight games.
I got him going for 4 tonight. He's my dinger pick.
There you go. So, but you're getting the production throughout the lineup, which is great to see. You got guys that I think a lot of people are, questioning. I guess is the best way to put it. Not sure of is probably the better way to put it. You just have a lot of question marks throughout. Like, are they going to break out? Are they going to continue from what they did last year, i.e., Michael Bush? Are they going to fall into a sophomore slump, or is it not the second half version of themselves that we're going to see with like guys like Amaya and PCA, or can Matt Shaw hold his own? Like there's so many question marks, and I kind of want to start before we get into the obvious storyline from last night. I want to, and we're going to talk about how many runs they got, 18 runs in the cycle, obviously with Carson Kelly. But one guy in particular who I want to talk about is Dansby Swanson, because I mean, we know his defense. Everyone knows his defense. We know the spectacular play that he made the other night to end a game and to win the game against the D-backs over the weekend. But I truly believe that he's in store for a bounce back year. I think that the injury really plagued him last year, and he's just not the type of guy that's going to come out. He doesn't, and sometimes that's the best thing for the team is to come out of the game and get yourself right and come back. But I think that this year he's coming into the season healthy, and he's always been kind of a guy where you don't really know what kind of production you're going to get offensively. Like he could be closer to league average, maybe just below or just above. But he really started to kind of ascend towards the end of his tenure with the Braves. So I was looking at that like, wow, this is a great deal. I know he wasn't the hot shortstop to get, but I really thought that he was just kind of finding himself and really on the upswing as far as his trajectory goes. And so far this year, man, he's showcasing both sides of his game, whether it be the power stroke, the doubles, and the defense. I mean, the defense has never really lacked at all, but he's putting it all together. So, yeah, man, what are your thoughts about just what you're seeing from Dansby Swanson right now?
Yeah, I think, to your point, having him return to that form that he had even in his first year with the Cubs, and then toward his end of his tenure in Atlanta, that is a massive boost to the lineup. Like that 30 double, 22 plus home run potential, already on top of what he's given you on defense, which already usually puts him in like the 4 to 5 WAR range. Having that production in the lineup is just extremely valuable. And the defense is always going to be great, but when he's making plays that like he had a walk-off play on defense a couple days ago.
Crazy.
Like a Superman-esque play where he literally dove to save the game, which that kind of stuff just stands out to not only the fans, obviously we saw that and we're like, man, Dansby Swanson's my hero, but like the rest of the team, like just being that kind of like work ethic, like grinding every day type of dude is such a good influence for the rest of the team. And it's only going to be, if he's healthy, that's only going to be, kind of maximized even more. Because to your point, last year, it sounded like he was hurt for a good chunk of the season, which was very concerning. Like you're saying, he's one of those guys that just wants to play every day. So I think he was just playing through that hernia injury. And in hindsight, maybe not the best play when you're, need to be in the lineup every day and producing, but hindsight's 2020. He's a gamer, and as long as he's healthy and producing like he has been with the thump in the bat and the Gold Glove defense, yeah, good things are going to happen for the Cubs.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing what a full healthy season of Swanson. Like you said, he's, it sounds like he was hurt a lot longer than what really we thought. He was just played through it. And, I see some great comments in here. too. Scott from Iowa. Is Dansby cheating with the torpedo bat? Card fans are complaining. Well, they haven't made the torpedo bat illegal, so card fans can complain all they want. If he is, then it doesn't really matter. But I don't know, man. The whole torpedo bat thing, like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I just want to touch on that real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's probably going to lead to more production, but like, really, it's just I don't think we have enough information or data behind the production yet of the torpedo bats to really say like, oh, the torpedo bats are influencing much of anything. I know Scott's kind of joking when he's talking about Swanson there, but like just in general, like, you know, even with the Yankees, like look at Aaron Judge, all those home runs that were hit that one day. Like, what did he have? Three of the home runs, and he wasn't using the torpedo bat. Like there's. So I just don't know like how much this is impacting. I think they're just doing research on which guys, you know, hit the barrel where they're supposed to, and then which guys tend to miss just off the barrel. And like Anthony Volpe and like players like that. I know Nico is potentially one of those guys too. Like, but I don't know. I don't know what your. But I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on the whole
I think
torpedo bat phenomenon.
Yeah, I think like what happened was the internet latched on to the story, and because it was the Yankees, and like it was kind of like a perfect storm of stuff happening, right? Like the Yankees just had like an insane series against the Brewers where they scored 32 runs in back-to-back games, and then that just so happened to be the time when people noticed the torpedo bat was being used by a couple Yankees players, and I think it just kind of like turned into this bigger thing than it actually is. Because to your point, like there's been people using the torpedo bats for quite some time now, from what I've seen. Nico's been using one all year, and I think there's been some players using them even last year. It's just people haven't noticed it yet. that it took the Yankees just teeing off on the Brewers, which made me happy to like for this story to just like break open. And I think the internet just kind of like, you know, took it and ran with it and was just like, oh, the Yankees are cheating and getting away with something. And it's like, A, the bats aren't illegal. B, other teams have been using them. C, we don't have any data, to your point, to point to the bat itself having more of an impact or not. So I think it's kind of being blown out of proportion a little bit. I don't think it's cheating at all. Like if everybody else has access to the bats and other teams are using them, I think it's just like a personal preference type of thing. Like there were some guys a couple years ago, the trend of like the big knob bat was going around. Like I remember Paul Goldschmidt and Patrick Wisdom used that bat a lot too. It's just like a personal preference thing, I think, for these hitters, just seeing what works and seeing which bat is more comfortable for them. But yeah, it was kind of, I was watching that story online and everybody was like, the Yankees are cheating. And I was sitting there like, I love that this is happening against the Brewers.
I actually, dude, I find it, well, first of all, I wish the Yankees could play the Brewers every game this
all the
year.
time. Yeah. Like put Nestor Cortez out there against
man,
all day, every day.
It's almost like they know him pretty well. Like like almost like he pitched for him before.
Great trade, in my opinion. Great trade.
God, already in the fire there. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting too, though, because you look at the torpedo bats and you're like, all right, well, really the rule is, you know, how thick it can be overall, and then like in certain. So really, they're just moving the spot of where the thickness is. So like in that case, if you're moving it lower, let's say like more to the inside, why not just get a shorter bat? Like to me, it's like, okay, because there's a maximum length limit, but I don't know what is there, like I don't even know, maybe there is, and I just haven't looked into it. Is there a minimum length limit? Like like the guys that are hitting it off the inside, you would think just get like a shorter bat and then maybe your problems are solved, and or you know, maybe that's just an adjustment with your style of hitting, but I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like having the shorter bat would probably screw with like the weight distribution of the bat, and then maybe that would like mess up the player's swing. I don't know. That's where my mind goes. So
it could be, yeah.
I don't know. I think it just like kind of has like gives the hitter more forgiveness in a sense. The torpedo bat. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool because the hitters, I think, needed an advantage because pitching has been so, I don't know, elite lately. Um, I say that, and then I remember that like a bajillion players have gotten Tommy John surgery in the last like couple years. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of dig it. I think I just feel like there's been a lot of offensive explosion in general around the league right now. Like every time I'm looking at the box scores of all the games, like, oh, there's like 5 home runs in this game. Like, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, dude, I'm all for more offense because we have been, like you said, pitching has dominated for the last few years. This is not. It's definitely become a pitching sport, and it's turned some people, the casual fans, off the game. Which, me being me and just loving the game, I don't really care, but I still want to grow the game. Like I do. But anyways, yeah, I do think more offense is good. Like especially if that's, if you could find a little bit of an edge to keep up with the 98 plus and the wicked movement that we're seeing pretty much every night, then why not? Scott's saying that I'm recommending T-ball bats for players. I am not. I am not saying that. I think that would be kind of funny though. Jeremiah says he's going to the game versus the Padres on Sunday. That is awesome. We will be there Friday, Saturday. Most of the guys here at Cubs on Tap will be there Friday, Saturday. So I wish it was one of those 2 games, Jeremiah. Then could run into you and say hi. But that sounds like an awesome time. Scott was saying Kelly hits for the cycle, and we're going to talk about Carson Kelly here in a second. But Kelly hits for the cycle and gets benched. Shows how hard it is to stay in an MLB lineup. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you also see that Miguel Amaya has been raking to start the year, and the types of swings that he's put on the ball, even on his outs, I thought have been really good so far. So, really, Kelly, this is a quality situation here, and I know this is something that Rich that you wanted to get into, but the catching tandem that the Cubs have, and I'll be honest, like the first couple of times I've seen Carson Kelly this year, was not happy because one, I'm very high on Amaya this year, and it's not like I thought Carson Kelly was a bad pickup. I thought he was a solid pickup, but I just, when he's known for his defense and making some kind of lapses defensively, that's where I kind of got a little bit irritated. The dropping of the ball when the runner's stealing third and you might have a chance, maybe he has no chance. And then there was another play too that I believe cost him a run. There was a couple of plays where I'm just like, but man, last night, dude, and it's early in the season, so any mistakes are like whatever. But man, he really, and I thought it was awesome. Him lugging around second base, like looked like he was just pulling a semi or something. But
definitely wasn't expecting to see a cycle last night, let alone from a catcher. Like that,
right?
Incredible. Yeah, if this is any sign of things to come, which it probably isn't, but if Kelly can be anywhere near league average with the bat, and Amaya continues this like post leg kick elimination, like hot streak at the plate that he's on, the Cubs catching tandem looks pretty solid. And I'm not going to be honest, it was one of my concerns, like probably from last year's trade deadline through, I don't know, a couple of games this year, up through probably the Tokyo series. I wasn't too high on the catching situation because I thought they were like convincing themselves that they didn't need an upgrade at catcher. And I thought Amaya was just going to regress again. But I don't know. He's been proving me wrong. And yeah, his defense is great. Like Amaya is always he's been a pretty good receiver. And I think he's building and has built a nice rapport with the pitching staff where he can handle it, which is huge. Like it's no small feat. Like he is the starting catcher for a baseball team in Major League Baseball. That's solid, Mm-hmm. And then people forget too, last year was his first full MLB season. So he still has a lot of development to do on himself. And I think he's been doing it. Like he's made good adjustments at the plate and we're seeing the results of that. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about the catching situation right now.
I am too, man. And I was hoping maybe I could reel some of you guys in before the season. Like, hey, we're all right. Amaya's gonna be that guy. But you know what? A lot of that was just me being hopeful too. Like, I'll be honest, I we still don't know. Like, it's still way too early to say one way or another whether this catching tandem is truly going to be, without issues all year.
Yeah.
There's a possibility where it does regress, and this is just, a hot streak to start the season. But Scott's going very bold, saying Amaya is going to be the starting catcher at the All-Star game. So
Hashtag book it.
yeah,
All right. Well, we'll remember this, Scott.
yeah. I mean, and I hope you're right, man, because I do. Like I said, I'm very high on Amaya this year, and I hope you're right, because that would be me and you talking off air too before jumping on here. My like key, I feel like, to this offense. One, I feel like you need a bounce back season from Dansby Swanson, and so far we're getting that. Another home run last night. Michael Bush not having a sophomore slump, like even just maintaining what he did last year, which he looks like he's even building on that. But really, those 7, 8, and 9 hitters in the lineup just being solid. And really, it's because there's so much speed down there, too. I mean, you look at the lineup from tonight and the guys that are back to back to back: Nico, PCA, Shaw, and then you got Amaya to potentially bring them in the 9 spot. Like, that 6 through 8, though, that is a very strong. It has the potential to be a very strong area, and you could take advantage of the base paths with the speed. And so far, we've seen that too. We've seen Craig be aggressive in certain spots. PCA's just got the green light whenever, but anything hit near a gap right now or near a line, it feels like the Cubs are going to get the extra base. So when it comes to that, man, I'm really excited to see. Like, it's fun. It's just fun. It's fun to see that style of baseball that I feel like we haven't really seen for a while.
Yeah, I think the roster construction from like a defensive and base running standpoint is much better this year. And that's sort of Craig Counsell's bread and butter, what he wants from his players. Like, you're going to be in the lineup a lot if you can play solid defense. And he likes, this, like, the Brewers have kind of like still taken up that torch that he implemented in Milwaukee. Is like just strong base running up and down the lineup. And the Cubs addressed that in a pretty good way, I think. Like, even adding Kyle Tucker, he's like a 30 stolen base threat every year.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Horner and PCA obviously are like 2 fastest guys on the team. One of my preseason predictions is that PCA is going to lead the league in stolen bases. I still believe that. Matt Shaw, another guy who's stolen 30 bases in the minor leagues before, just 2 seasons ago, I think. And then the bench too is also a big part of that. Like, Gage Workman, sneaky fast. He has 3 different seasons in the minor leagues of 30 plus stolen bases.
Mm-hmm.
John Birdie obviously has led the league before in stolen bases. Vidal Brujan, when he comes back, could be one of those guys too. And when you just look at the bench players that they had last year, like Michael Tauchman, Patrick Wisdom, Nick Madrigal, all pretty poor base runners. And honestly, not a lot of position versatility between those 3 guys either. So I don't know. The roster construction, and then I think the other part of that too is the coaching staff that they let Craig Counsell finally build himself. I always thought that was kind of weird that they brought in Craig Counsell last year, and then the majority of the coaching staff was just carried over from David Ross's.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't really see that in other sports. And I was like, does this happen in baseball? Like, why did they do that? I don't know. That always kind of bugged me. And I'm glad that they let him address that, because the guys who they had, like Quentin Berry and Jose Javier, are like, very much components of the base running aspect that they're focusing on this year. So that's another huge plus for the Cubs in 2025, I think.
Big time, man. I do totally agree with you too. I think that anytime when you're a manager, you want to build your own staff. Like, I think that that's how it's supposed to be, like everywhere. Yeah. But it's nice to see though that they've made those roster changes too and coaching staff changes. not to say that the other coaches on the staff were bad. I mean, I don't really, we're not in there day to day for me to really hear like what the conversations. Maybe Craig came in and he was like, you know what, I really like this guy, or
Yeah.
that.
It was probably just them doing right by whatever contracts that they had those guys signed to. Nonetheless, it is
That's a
nice
good point.
and like it is nice that Craig Counsell got the opportunity at least to fill out his own coaching staff. So
Yeah.
sooner, I don't know, better late than never,
Better late than, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you tried it and it wasn't what you wanted either. So like, let's get the guys that you want in here and let's build around that. And I truly think like the guys with the speed are making an impact, are going to make an impact all year. Which is nice because you never really feel like you can't score at least one. In any given moment, you could probably score at least one because you're just littered with these guys that can do the hit and run, that can just swipe a bag, that'll take an extra base in an aggressive spot. Say what you want about the Matt Shaw running himself into a double or trying for a double and running himself into an out at second base, but I don't really have a problem with that.
Yeah,
Like,
that could happen to anybody.
yeah, it could happen. I like aggressiveness when you're trying, when it's not stupid. Like, there's a difference between stupid and, okay, you were trying to be aggressive and you got thrown out. And I feel like that's what that situation was,
Yeah, and that's also like a rookie player too. Like those situations, as the further his career goes along, he's not going to be in those situations as much. So, or he's not going to take an extra bag that he knows he's not going to. Like, it won't gamble as much with it. So, I like the aggressiveness too. I agree with that.
100%. Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. Yo, in the comments, yo, what's going on? Scott from Iowa, Joey, I want bleacher tickets if I'm right. You got it, man. You got it. If you're right, I will be more than happy to give you bleacher tickets. Trust me. Hold me to that, please, if I forget. Yeah, no. So, in Jeremiah, he said, bringing 5 of my friends plus it's bleacher seats. I think he's talking about Sunday there. So, that sounds awesome, man. And I actually saw something in here about Kyle Hendricks. I did not keep up with what was happening today. Rich, do you know what happened with Hendricks? 6 innings, somebody said.
He went
with the Angels
against the Cardinals, actually, too.
Oh,
yeah,
like that.
Quality start. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 Ks, 7 hits, but limited the damage. Like that. Love that a lot. Mike Trout had a couple ribbies too against the Cardinals. He's on one of my fantasy teams. I like that. Division's getting beat up a little bit today. You love to see that. Reds lost to the Texas Rangers. Pirates lost to the Rays. Brewers are winning, but they're 0-4 right now, so they're already kind of a little bit buried.
Chance to make up some ground here today.
Yeah, we need it.
Love it, man. Yeah, well, with that said, let's we talked a little bit about, I mean, we did talk a little bit about Carson Kelly. I'll just mention and add that on to how special it was. First cycle since Mark Grace in 1993. Is that right? 1993, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. That's wild, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. And there's a lot of cycles like every year. I was looking up just like how many there are, and there's more. They happen more often than not, or than I thought. Like there was 4 of them last year. It's like a no hitter. Like sometimes there can be 1 a year, sometimes there can be like 5. They happen quite often. 32 years since the last cycle for the Cubs is kind of a long time when you put that in perspective.
Mm-hmm. It also goes to show just, yes, it happens a lot, but just how hard it is for someone to get. And the fact that was like his 2nd or 3rd career triple for Carson Kelly, like, dude, you couldn't have picked a better moment for yourself to get that other triple there. Like, that to me is just, how do you script that? Like, that's baseball being nutty. And sometimes baseball's nutty and I love it. And speaking of nutty, they had a freaking drone delay last night, which I think watching that, we were all just kind of like, what is going on at this point?
That was super weird. Not to mention this was the home opener for the A's in this, minor league ballpark that they're going to be playing in this year. All around, if you were an A's fan watching that, I would I don't know. I would have been kind of mad. Like, my team is playing in this bum baseball park. They got shellacked by the Cubs. There was a drone delay. Yeah, a catcher hit for the cycle against them in their home opener. That's kind of rough, honestly.
Oh, they had a heck of that was terrible. Like all of those things adding up. 18-3, a drone. You can barely like fit an entire football team into the stadium as far as the seating goes. Which is probably why there was a drone there, because somebody was probably trying to watch that couldn't get into the stadium, and it was probably like somebody spying from Oakland or something. Like just flew the drone to Sacramento. I was like, yeah, we're watching it. I'm in there. You know what? I'm just gonna disrupt this because I don't agree with the move anyways.
Took my ballpark away. I'm delaying your game.
Yeah.
The umpire's mic was also hot while that was happening, which was also kind of funny. I remember Boog and JD on Marquee were like, somebody should tell him that before he swears or something. I'm like, this is so weird. What is happening?
Dude, that was so funny. I couldn't believe that. And then JD's call too on the cycle I thought was really good.
Yeah.
Like go, I don't know, I forget what he said, but get up or something, go.
Go. Yeah, it was like, I don't know.
There's some good moments yesterday. Kyle Tucker launching one off of a position player.
Not mad about it.
Not mad about it at all.
Add to that home run total, baby. We need that. We need all the ammunition we can for your extension talks.
That's what I'm saying. Just pad your stats any chance you can, so that way and not that I'm saying that I want the Cubs to have to spend as much money as possible, but like give them no reason to not spend it other than you are being cheap.
Yeah, this is the guy you break out the wallet for. This Kyle Tucker, literally, I'm watching him every single at bat. I'm like, man, this doesn't feel real. I can't believe Kyle Tucker is on the Chicago Cubs. It feels weird and amazing at the same time. Like, man, we have like a top 15 player in MLB on our team again for the first time. Like we said a bunch, but I think since Chris Bryant was in his MVP form in 2016 and 17.
Legit.
It's been too long.
Legit. We had one really, really good like MVP caliber in the discussion season from Javi Baez. We had, I think in the same year that Chris Bryant was, Rizzo was really damn close as far as MVP goes. At least got votes. You didn't really look at him as like a serious winner or was going to get it. But man, oh man, I just think that like this is legit a contender for MVP every single season if he's healthy. And no, it totally feels different. Like Cody Bellinger, cool. Yeah, he was that guy at one point. Like this is a guy he's there now and he's got the potential to be there for the next 5-6 seasons is kind of how it feels.
Even if you give him a 10-year deal and those last 4 years you're regretting, it's like you're getting 5 to 6 excellent years of production from Tucker that you can't get anywhere else unless you pay money for it. It's like unless Owen Casey somehow turns into an MVP caliber player, which would be awesome, admittedly, but it's a long shot. Like these types of players are very rare, and you need to pay them in order to have them on your baseball team more often than not. And the Ricketts just need to realize that, and I hope they break out of this, this mentality of not offering long-term contracts, not offering contracts over $200 million, and not offering deferred money, because it's just handicapping you. You're kneecapping yourself for no reason in literally just to save money. And it's gross, and I want my baseball team to be good. So pay that money. Pay that man. Pay the king.
Pay that man. Pay that man.
Pay the king, baby.
King Tuck. Yeah. I'm with you, man. You see it all across baseball. The serious teams don't care that they're going to be at near the bottom or kind of eating a lot of that money towards the end of that contract. It doesn't matter to them because you get 6 really great years of one of the best players in baseball. And the whole goal is to have the best players in baseball, or at least the best team in baseball. And the fastest way to get the best team in baseball, get the best players in baseball. It's really that simple. So I'm totally with you on that. But yeah, man, Rich, what do you say we kind of look at tonight? We only got a few minutes here before first pitch. Preview it, and yeah, we hope that they keep the offense going. It would be so like the norm for the Cubs to kind of cool down after a huge night. We already saw that actually this year when they had the first game against Arizona, and then game 2 kind of went pretty damn silent. But tonight we got Justin Steele back on the bump, making his third start of the regular season already because of the Tokyo series against Big Payday, the big newcomer for the whatever A's you want to call them, but the A's, Luis Severino making the start for them tonight, which it's funny because I had a friend of mine who actually said, well, the A's are supposed to be better this year. They spent money. They spent more money. And I'm like, Luis Severino does not count. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass here tonight. But yeah, Rich, what are your thoughts here looking at
Severino? Yeah, Severino probably not a guy that I would want the Cubs to sign, but he did actually look pretty good in his first start against the Mariners. He went 6 innings, no earned runs, 3 hits, did walk 4 batters, but he also K'd 6 guys. His slider looked electric, and his fastball was touching 97 miles an hour. So that is a little scary, especially because the Cubs haven't really seen him. He played the majority of his his big league career with the Yankees, so not in the same league. The only guy who's seen him a lot is Kyle Tucker, I think. He actually has a dinger against him, which is part of the reason why I picked him tonight. So
we'll take that again.
And that was against the Mariners too, which is not like a pushover lineup. So I don't know. Sevy could have a sneaky good game, but yeah, Justin Steele, this is a get right game for him. I think he got beat up a little bit by the Dodgers in Tokyo. Cubs won his other start in Arizona. The offense kind of, helped him out a lot in that game, but wasn't his best effort, but definitely one of those games where he was just like grinding it out. Only went 5 innings, 6 hits, a lot of traffic, 3 earned runs, a couple of strikeouts. But, like I said, I'm not worried about Justin Steele. I think this is a pretty good matchup for him. As long as he can keep the ball on the ground and not let it sail out of that little ballpark in Sacramento. But yeah, I like the Cubs' chances of securing the series win against the A's tonight. Then you got Tyone on the mound tomorrow, who is looking for a bounce back game himself.
Yeah, definitely. Tyone definitely got rocked the last time too. But Steele, and I'm glad that you brought up that Severino was pretty damn good in his first outing, because by no means was I trying to say that he is not a good pitcher. I just think when it's your big signing of an offseason, you can't pretend that you're spending, and they kind of splurged a little, but like it's splurging in comparison. It's like it doesn't really, it's not the same breath.
And splurging because you're saving money because you moved your ballpark. You didn't want to rent out the Oakland Coliseum anymore.
Right. That's really what it was. They had a little bit more to play with.
Yeah.
And so they did. But I mean, I give them props for doing it, I guess, but the way they run the rest of the team is kind of laughable. But anyways, yeah, man, with Steele, I'm not concerned about Steele moving forward with the season. I think he'll be fine. I'm with you there. The one thing with Steele, though, that I was looking at his last start, now at first I was like, is he tipping his pitches? But then, I started looking and I'm like, well, he's kind of tinkering around. He's kind of throwing the kitchen sink. Excuse me. Whew, had a sneeze coming. All right. We held it off. He was kind of like throwing a little bit of the pitches that you don't always see from him. And then as the game went on and he started to get better, and he had some rough moments as the game went on too, but he didn't have as many rough moments as he did early in the game. And early in the game, his changeup got hit hard a couple times, And, looking at Savant, he only threw it 3 times and it got hit at least twice. Once was the home run to Eugenio Suarez, and then once, I believe, was the double to Ketel Marte. And then he was throwing a lot more sinkers instead of going, usually we've seen from Steele is 4-seam and slider. Now he was throwing a lot of sinkers. He was throwing, at least early on, he was throwing a lot of changeups, or a few more, like more than you'd expect from him. The curveball didn't look bad by any means, but like even that, it's not a pitch where I would say he normally throws. It's usually just 4-seam and slider and different variations of the slider. But I don't know. I have this theory, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are, but I'm not saying that Steele can't throw all these different pitches. I think it's going to be beneficial to him in the long run if he can really incorporate some of these others, like the changeup, like the sinker or curveball even. But I feel like when you're doing too much and not really sticking with your bread and butter at times, sometimes it can also affect the feel that you have for your bread and butter, and not necessarily just the pitches itself of, hey, he's not throwing the changeup the way that he wants to, but it can kind of mess with you a little bit on those other pitches too. So I'm wondering, at what point does he just say, all right, to hell with this, kind of scrapped it last outing, mid-outing, but at what point does he just go, okay, you know what, I'm going to focus on this. This is what I'm good at. This is what's got me barely over a 3 ERA for like 3 years straight, and just say to hell with it? Or do you think like long run and short term is also Steele's just going to get better at this? He's just going to fine tune, and even the pitches that he's working on, he's just going to turn those into gold mines.
Yeah, it's tough because we haven't seen him use any of these pitches a ton. We don't have a lot of data on it. He's definitely working on stuff, right? Like he's trying to incorporate a third and fourth pitch into his repertoire and use them on a regular basis, which theoretically would help his longevity as a starter, over the course of his career. But yeah, it is good points. Like if it's not working, maybe you should just stick with the stuff that works. I don't know. It's something that he's got to continue to work on, I think. And I think, I don't know, probably a couple of months, I would say. Maybe mid-season if it's really not working out. Like if his changeup is getting hard or get hit hard all the time, I would say toss it or toss it out of your golf bag and just use the fastball and the slider, because he does have the ability to like cut the slider harder and then like use it as like a more of a sweeper, so that he does kind of have like 2 pitches in one to an extent with the slider to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, he's had success with that. Vied for a Cy Young award in a couple of seasons ago with that pitch mix. So yeah, I don't know. I think he's gonna just like see what happens with it, and if he finds success with it as we go on here, he'll probably use it more often. If not, I don't know, by mid-season, I think he'll probably stop using it as much.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that too. I think it's, something in the first, at least early goings here that he'll experiment with. And I do agree. I think it'll be something that if you can hone in on it and perfect it, or at least get it to where it's like serviceable, then it's only going to be for the better, because the more pitches in your arsenal, the better it is. But, we've just seen the consistency from him. And there's your guy, Kyle Tucker, taking a walk, first and second, nobody out for the Cubs here in the first inning. So
he just hit a 3-run dinger.
Oh no, you didn't just did you just spoil that?
I just spoiled that. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, that's all right. I'm happy.
Tell my MLB at Bat app.
Let's go. Yeah,
I saw the in-play runs.
I know it's terrible. I make sure I mute that when the game's on, but I don't even think I saw the notification. I didn't mute it yet. But
Luis Severino's good.
Who?
Who said that? I don't know. Nobody
said that. Yeah, that wasn't you. Who picked? Did anyone pick Seiya tonight in the dinger picks?
Let me look.
Oh, it's dead center too. Let's go, Seiya.
Love to see it.
470. No, I don't know. Scott's saying it's 475 to dead center.
Tyler. It was Tyler.
Tyler.
Oof.
Let's go. He's got 2 or 3 now, right?
I think he's got 2. I think he's in the lead.
That was a moonshot. Laser 111.7 mile per hour off the bat. Damn. Dead
Love
center
to
too.
see it. Keep the offense going, Cubs.
That's another guy that's kind of started the season slow, but now we're seeing it these last few games. Like Seiya's starting to, he's having he's putting good swings on it. I think that's the second homer now.
You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for the ABS ball and strike system to come through, like maybe next year. I feel like he is one of the players that can benefit from that so much with all
Big time.
all the outside pitches that could call strikes against him.
Big time.
And big year from Seiya though. I think this year, only focusing on DH and hitting. Come on, man. He's due. He's due for like a 30 home run season.
I agree. He's got it in there.
He does.
I thought he was going to have a huge season last year, and unfortunately, he went down a little bit too. So, it's just difficult. I do think, though, being a DH and just focusing on hitting, like, that's going to be huge because there's a little bit of a mind game there playing right field at Wrigley.
Yeah.
Really anywhere, but, like, that's such a tough place to play right field. Like,
I feel like he makes a lot of, like, I feel like he's made a lot of mistakes, like fielding routine fly balls. Like to your point, it's like a mental thing almost with Seiya, which it was painful to watch at times a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm
like
glad
that Braves game, and yeah.
There was a couple years ago against the Diamondbacks, which is like lost them the playoff run.
Oh God, that was the worst.
Yeah, but he's got it. Yeah, to your point, he's got it in him. I think he can do it. And his peripherals last year were really good. 283 batting average, 138 WRC plus. It's there. Like he's got, and he hits the ball hard a lot.
Usually his peripherals have been like, I guess since coming into the league and being on the Cubs, like his peripherals have been really damn good. Most years it's just, staying healthy and being consistent and not getting, like you said, those bullshit calls. I'm going to say it anyways. Bullshit calls on the outside. The one thing about him, though, that I do get a little bit frustrated, and even last night, was he still has a tendency to take some pitches that are like, yeah, it's borderline, but in that situation with 2 strikes, you probably shouldn't go, especially with your history of getting called. And then, like last night, he had one that was right down the pipe and just watched it for strike 3. And I'm like, Seiya.
Yeah, he does do that a lot. It's so frustrating. I don't know if he's getting crossed up or what. I'm just like, dude, it was like a breaking ball too yesterday where he did that. I was like, man,
Yeah,
sent that to the freaking moon at that park.
The hangers, like you're supposed to be, you hang them, we bang them. But Scott's saying, holy shit, Cubs are 3rd in the league in most home runs this season. Well, I was going to say, to be fair, they've played more games, but I don't think they hit a home run in Tokyo.
It's true. Yeah, I think they're leading, at least going into today, they were also leading in runs scored and in hits as well. So their offense is really cooking right now.
It's rolling.
I love it.
You get these early leads too, man. I thought the bullpen last night was really good, and I know it's in a blowout game like that, but the bullpen being that good, no matter what, like Julian Merriweather looked really solid. Colin Ray, even he didn't look bad at all in his multiple innings. If you could get, just a few guys cooking out of that pen, doesn't have to be everybody, because as the year goes on, you're going to realize who the guys are that you're going to use in the leverage spots and who you're not. And at this point, I feel like Merriweather is earning himself a little bit more trust, and even Colin Ray could be earning himself a little bit more trust too. Even though he's a multi-inning guy, but maybe he is kind of multi-inning / could be high leverage when you need him to as well.
Yeah, I remember Council saying that at least in the beginning of the year, he's going to be leaning on Colin Ray a lot, just because he didn't go to the Tokyo series, so his body is theoretically in better shape and not jet lagged like the rest of the team, which is annoying. And I'm honestly tired of the team going on these these international trips are cool, and it's awesome that they were chosen to go play in Tokyo. But then like this like after effects stuff, especially when they lost both of the games, I'm like, man, like can we get back on track here, man?
Back to real baseball in in the US where it's not like crazy different time zones and you're out of your swing of things. Like that's the thing is nobody is everyone wants to feel the atmosphere when they go on those trips too. And like not ever going there and playing for a lot of those guys being the first time, like it's almost like you're on a vacation, like yeah, you're there to play baseball and you know what your job is and you want to win, but it's like
They
it's
probably they had to do so many like press stuff and media and stuff, and they were probably out like the whole time, like day before the games and stuff. Like it was probably really taxing, honestly.
I bet.
But you know,
Yeah. I
same
couldn't.
thing. Remember when they went to? I think it was they had a game like a series in England a couple years ago, and then that kind of like derailed this run that they were on. That was in like the middle of the summer. I remember Stroman was
At the
still on the team.
Cardinals, yeah, the Cardinals series, right? Or
Yeah,
Cardinals London series.
that too also kind of like messed with them, and like derailed this hot run they were on. I'm like, man, just keep the Cubs stateside for a couple years.
Stroman was never the same after that either.
Yeah, R.I.P. Marcus.
Ooh, yeah, R.I.P. But anyways, Rich, bottom of the first here, Steele on the mound, Rooker up to bat. He's got one guy on right now. Oh boy, that was hit well, and we are 3-2.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I spoiled that one for you, but
We need more runs.
yeah, this is turning into this park right here is turning into a bandbox for sure. I'm also a little bit concerned with Steele right now.
The only saving grace here is Brent Rooker hit the home run, and he's on both of my fantasy teams.
Oh, there you go. He also just completely missed his spot. Like that's a cement mixer of a slider or curveball, whatever that was. But yeah, anyways, Rich, any final thoughts here before we go ahead and wrap this thing up? We could just, I guess, stay live for the game, but I don't know if that was what our plan was. It's late. It's a West Coast game. I'm going to watch this game for sure, but I kind of just want to be chilling on the couch and not sitting in this weird chair here.
You gotta let your Chihuahua out anyway.
That's true. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you.
Just saved you some grief with the wife right there.
I know she's gonna be stomping around when she gets up, and she's not let out.
Yeah, man. It's Tyone on the mound tomorrow, off day Thursday, and then home opener, the Cubs' third opening day of the year on Friday. We're gonna be in attendance, kicking off a 3-game series against the Padres. Oh yeah, there you go. Well,
if we're counting Tokyo,
yeah, too many opening days. But yeah, should be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to them finally returning to Wrigley Field and hopefully getting right here, getting the ship on the right course, and hopefully winning a series against the Padres. Yeah, I'm excited, man. Offense, keep chugging.
Keep chugging, baby. I hope so. Yeah, I'm excited for Friday. I'm excited to hang out with you guys. Rich, it'll be a first time meeting you in person. Well, I'm sure we're going to have a brew or two here, whether it's inside the ballpark or, at Murphy's or one of the outdoor locations. Oh, leaped. He couldn't get it. Dansby just off the glove. First and second with one out now. So, yeah, they're still kind of cooking here. Maybe this is bad luck that we're on still, and that's what they're trying to say is just get out of here.
Go watch the game.
But yeah, I don't know. One thing I was looking back though at some of the comments, Joey, thank God Joey's has some sort of beard growing now. Yeah, well, first of all, I don't think I look like myself without it, but
you're gonna look weird with a beard now because I've only seen you without one.
Oh, that's true. You've never seen it, huh? Yeah, I don't know. This is scary though, man. I think this is early season. just early season not up to par yet with Justin Steele. That's how I'm going to look at this, for sure, because I don't think that there's like he doesn't look like he just looks like he's messing with location right now, and also maybe trying too many things. But I really haven't paid close enough attention while we've been on here to see what his pitch mix has been. I'm seeing sliders, I'm seeing fastballs, but I don't know if he's mixing anything else in there. But yeah, Rich, this is a lot of fun. Somehow still made it to an hour, and I think we were trying to keep it to like maybe just before the game, or well, if it rolls into the game, like that's fine. Yeah, we got the getaway day series finale tomorrow against the A's midday. I believe it's a 2:30 or 2:35 start. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but then day off, and they'll head back to Chicago for the 1:20 Friday start, home opener. I'm pumped. Anytime you get a home opener, I believe it's going to be Shota Imanaga, your
Should be great.
mama.
I'm really glad he's on the mound. He's looked fantastic so far this year.
I can't wait to be saying that from the bleachers too. Like I'm gonna get everybody going in the bleachers, whether they like it or not. They're gonna have to get used to me saying that.
Gonna need something to deal with the weather. It should be a little crisp out there at Wrigley, but it's okay.
Yeah,
we'll deal with it.
Nothing a Brewer 2 can't fix though. So well, there's a ground ball, and looks like the Cubs are gonna get out of it. Grounder to second at Nico.
Still got the lead, baby. Still got the lead.
All right, could have been worse. Look at the Cubs, 3 runs on 1 hit compared to the A's, 2 runs on 4 hits. So that's baseball, folks.
There you go.
But anyways, this podcast is presented to you by On Tap Sportsnet. You can follow us at Cubbies on Tap. You can follow Rich at Rich_EBS. You can follow me at Joey Knows Nothing. And you can follow along with the rest of the guys. The handles are down there at the ticker. The banner going across the screen. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and follow. Give the guys a follow, and hit the subscribe there too on the YouTube channel if you're on there. But we appreciate all you guys jumping in here and chiming in with some thoughts. You know, some of you regulars that we see pretty much every time we do the show. But and then some new faces too. So pretty cool there. But yeah, Rich. Let's get it. Let's get 2 out of 3 at least. Feeling good about that. Get back to 500, and maybe you get some more home cooking. Possibly even, you set yourself up for a sweep. I don't know if you know what to say when we get out of here every other time, but are you familiar with the slogan that we usually use?
I think I am. I think I know what you're talking about. A little fuck the Cardinals.
And let's go Cubbies.